Did y'all watch the Hasan on Piers Morgan
Oh yeah.
debate?
I saw the
Everyone
one
called
clip
that?
going around where he's just like, "Who the fuck are you? Shut the fuck up."
Well, in British, you want British. Yeah, that was super funny. But you know what's great about that clip and that moment is that, like, I think that's the frustration everyone's just collectively feeling at people both sides seeing genocide, or people trying to constantly be like, we need to talk about the horrifying atrocities and everything that was terrible on October 7th. And truly, no one on this panel has done that yet. At the same time, I do agree. I feel bad for people in Gaza. You know, I won't call them Palestinians. I won't call it Palestine. I won't say, you know, what happened prior to October 7th, but I will say I feel deeply, deeply sad and troubled by it. And then finally, like, you know, Hasan had to be the person who snapped. It was just like, yeah, no. I mean, like, you can't.
It was cathartic. It was so
Yeah.
cathartic to watch that, because, like, if you, in the lead up to that moment, the guy had interrupted Hasan to just completely disregard the point that he was making. So, like, that blonde lady who was just haranguing Hasan the entire interview.
He's like a sports journalist or something.
Yeah. She was saying, you don't care about the hostages. And Hasan made the point that if you actually care about the hostages, which you should, as we all should, then you call for a ceasefire. So that way people in Gaza and Israeli hostages are safe. Like, hostages were released when there was a ceasefire. And then that guy, the pink hair guy, he's like, oh, well, you're minimizing the hostages. And he just disregarded what Hasan said. So that's why Hasan snapped. Yeah, this is such a great clip.
I'm trying to imply
very patronizing.
Utilizing the hostages. Yeah, I am being patronizing. I don't know who the fuck you are, and you're over here chirping all the way from fucking London about Palestine and doing a both sides are fucking fine type bullshit where you're talking about how you want to fucking free Palestine, but also simultaneously, you know, both sides got a lot going on. Shut the fuck up. You don't know anything, okay? I'm trying to imply.
So good. Hasan, throughout that whole interview, was just on fire, because I don't know if you watched the full thing. I actually watched all 40 minutes of it.
Yeah,
I have brain damage now, just FYI. But it starts off with an interview.
I have a hard time. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, it starts off with a Crackhead Barney interview, and then has Piers Morgan for 10 minutes is trying to talk.
If you're not familiar with her, she's a street performer from New York, and I know a lot of people who have
that is, because I have no idea.
Okay, so I've actually met her in person. I used to, yeah. So I used to live in New York. I lived there for about 5 months. I lived in Flatbush, and I was filming some projects in New York. And she's basically like a street performer, very like, a lot of people find her incredibly aggressive, but she's also part of Means TV, if you didn't know this. And Means TV has been, like, doing a show with her for a little while now. Her views, according to Means TV, are that she's like an anarchist, and she's trying to bring attention to, obviously, oppression in all its ways through extreme shock comedy, kind of things like that. So I know people on the left are really, really upset with her being like, I think that she's trying to, portray a negative black stereotype on TV. People on the right think that she's just trolling, but isn't actually anti-Alec Baldwin. It's like kind of confusing to find out. But the best part about that whole intro is the fact that Piers Morgan tried to Piers Morgan an interview with Crackhead Barney. Right. He was trying to do that thing where he's like, I'm going to have a very serious interview and ask why you would accost rich, famous people. Because that's what I care about. He was so passionate about that. He's like, I really care about the fact that she was just being really rude to Alec Baldwin. He had a right to just buy a sandwich. Why should anyone ask him that in public?
And after Piers finally cut it off after like 10 minutes, like not taking the hint that she's not going to break character. Like, what are you doing? Hasan's response was so funny. He's like, you expected to have a serious conversation with Crackhead Barbie. Like, I don't know if he called her Crackhead Barbie. It was really funny. He's like, yeah, Hasan was just saying what everyone was thinking. Like, he was cooking on that fucking show. It was so good.
Also, it brings attention to the fact that Piers Morgan and his show is trash. I mean, like, I too am trash, but I'll admit that I'm trash. I'm self-aware trash, but he's not. And it was kind of like, is this truly better? Is this more constructive or better entertainment or better for the populace than what you produce, Piers? And I would argue, no, it's not. If anything, it just brings attention. It's like shining a mirror through absurdity. Kind of, I think.
Yeah,
that's my
every time. So I've covered a few Piers Morgan clips, and I make it clear, like, he does what he does because he gets some clicks. And to be fair to him, it works. Like, I covered a couple of his clips, but not because of him, though, but because, like, the guest he has on and the points they're making. But, like, he knows how to get eyeballs, and he does it with these debates, these interviews, and it's nothing to do with him. It's everything to do with the choice in the guest and like who he brings on. And I guess you could say maybe it has something to do with him because he never takes a side on anything. Like, or he will in one interview and then take the other side.
If you condemn Hamas, you have to condemn Hamas. That's the first step. Yeah. But do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas?
Which is just, that's not journalism. You're just, again, this
sound bites.
Yeah, it's sound bites. It's sound bites. So, but I mean, I don't know. Well, is there value to anything at this point? Like, aren't people? You're either at this point, hopefully, aware of what the fuck is going on, or you're not, or you are, and you don't care that thousands of people are being murdered by the state of Israel. Like, what more needs to be debated? Like, there's nothing else left to debate. So all these debates, they're just kind of, I don't know, unless someone just came out of a cave. Like, I don't know what the actual value is to the audience at this point to have these sorts of debates, but
I feel like everything's been said already that needed to be said. You know what I mean? Like, the facts are laid out. Just this week, we found mass graves in Khan Yunis. Some of the people that they found had their hands tied together. I mean, there's so much evidence now that if you haven't made up your mind, then I don't know what to tell you, right?
Alpha male, not a beta male.